I am really excited about this show. I know last season, when we last left Ayana, she was just kind of like a side character. She, had kind of an arc, but we didn't really know much about her. This season is much more character driven, and we're learning more about Ayana. So, kind of tell us one of the things that we'll kind of learn about Ayana going into the next season.
Yeah, I feel like the first season was more of Ayana being like the woke guru, kind of leading Keith's journey into wokeness. And the second season, we're finding out that she does not have all the answers. And we're seeing a little bit more unraveling happening, which I love because I want to see, the cracks and the faults happening with the character. And I think it's going to be interesting for the audience to see Ayana need help because she was such a help to the characters in the first season, and now she's on the other side where she actually needs a lot of help with her journey.
Well, we see a particular scene where she kind of receives some help with medicinal assistance.
Yes.
And what I love about it is that it really gives an eye to people who may have been second place or kind of in the background. And we
Mm-hmm.
see Ayana basically taking that role on and not necessarily getting the credit. Do you think that she wants the credit or that she wants her efforts to be realized? Where do you think her sense of kind of importance comes from?
I think she wants the credit, but she also wants the work to be seen. I think the most important thing to her is that the work that she's doing is actually making an impact. And I think what she's questioning throughout these episodes is like, is it even doing that?
Mm-hmm.
And are the efforts that she's been putting herself through that's making her tired, that's making her worn, and the battle she's going through, are they even adding up to anything outside of herself? And I think it's going to be interesting for people to watch because I think there's always been discussion of Black women taking on way more responsibility than we need to, lifting up the community, saving America, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, I think it'd be nice to see a character really analyze this stuff and realize that maybe she needs to take a step back.
What I also love about her is that there doesn't seem to be kind of these respectability politics. We see her have an encounter with someone who has decided not to label themselves and seeing Ayana's reaction to that, but still being in the fight, still saying, what I do is going to affect everybody. Do you feel like that's kind of a core part of her character, her motivations?
Yeah, I think so. I think no matter what, she wants to fight for everybody. She wants everyone to be able to progress together. I think her main objective is Black culture, and then we see that she's surprised by her audience at the end of the season as to who she's been actually communicating with the most. But yeah, I think ultimately she wants everybody to be able to live freely and feel comfortable in their own skin, and also in this world that we are all living in.
So, in your opinion, what is the theme for season 2 of Woke?
I think the theme is really analyzing the idea of being woke
Mhm.
and the idea of being an activist, and kind of how we don't all have the answers. And
Right.
I hope we try not to give an answer in the show either.
Mhm.
Like there's just so many different ways to be woke. There's so many ways to be an activist. Some of them, involve money or flashiness or social media presence. Some of them are more on the ground. Some of them are more grassroots. And it's like, you pick your own journey. And there's so many of them happening in the show. And I hope the audience can kind of see that and analyze what they've been doing in their own lives and think, maybe this path wasn't great, or maybe I need to analyze this a little bit more.
hmm Now, in the show, I know we definitely see a lot of that with Keith, between Keith and Laura in terms of method. And, you kind of get an opportunity to maybe get an office job and do something more political. I know that doesn't really fit in with Ayana's worldview, but do you feel that the two have the same kind of merit policy versus on the ground kind of organizing?
I think they can. I mean, it's interesting because there's pros and cons to both.
Right.
Like, there's definitely more visibility with politics, but then there's also some underbelly stuff that you have to deal with when you're in that world.
Mhm.
And I feel like when Laura and Ayana meet, they're definitely at heads because they have different ideologies. But I think in a different world, they probably could have worked together. I feel like their sensibilities play off of each other really well, and in the end, they like respect each other. Like, I see what you're doing. That's not my path, but at least at least you're fighting a fight. And yeah, I feel like Ayana could probably in some other dimension be in the political world and use her skills and her strengths in that direction, but I think ultimately she realizes that's not her path for this moment.